An exciting time here at the IMS Museum as they get ready to present a new exhibit to the public, a very, very cool look at the history of the museum, and very few people know more about it than our friend Jason Van Sickle. Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Tell us about 1956 and how this whole idea came to be.
Yeah, so 1956 for the museum here is a pretty important year. It was the first year that we started as a foundation, started as a relatively small 6-car display, but this exhibit showcases the early days, how we grew the collection, and then in a way grew it to what we are today.
So when you're talking about doing an exhibit like this that has so much history packed into it, how did you guys decide what was going to be displayed for people to see?
Well, we did the research, if you will, and went through the car files, went through just the files of the organization, and found these cars. It is interesting. It took them about 3 years to obtain the 13 cars that we have on display, but it really set forward that path into what we are today with over 200 vehicles and 55,000 pieces of artifact.
Does it amaze you? I mean, obviously you weren't there in 1956, but when you look at the history of 13 cars to the 200 that people just get to see, not even the ones that people don't get to look at, the vast popularity that this building has for people year-round. I mean, even today it's packed.
Obviously, we're a 363-day attraction here. We're open during the events. The 500 means so much to Hoosiers and nationwide, internationally, too. So it gives a chance to come and see your favorite cars, see your favorite stories throughout the year. Do you have a favorite? If you're looking at all these cars, like one that sticks out to you as like, this is the one that I love most out of this? Out of this exhibition, I mean, I have my personal favorites, like with Carl Fisher's premiere. But, you know, when you look back at how this institution started, the Maserati 8CTF, what Wilbur Shaw won in 1939 and 1940, that's really the catalyst of this museum. And from there, Carl Kaiser, the first curator, started adding more vehicles, along with like the Marmon Wasp, the National, things like that we have on display, and really set the stage to what we are today.
Why was it so important to do this? Because you guys could do any exhibit you wanted, but to celebrate 1956 and the beginning for you guys, why was that an important task? You know,
it's interesting because obviously we're an institution over 60 years old, and going back, we have guests that remember the original museum. It really left a lasting impression on them. We hear it all the time of people saying, you know, we used to walk through the 13-car museum and the small museum where we started. So it's a way to showcase the history of this organization, and as we work towards the future, telling stories, more exhibits, it is good to look back at our past too.
One of the things I love most when you're in the museum, and especially with, I think, this exhibit, you're going to see this, is kids' faces, because they know the IndyCar as it is now, right? But when you start to look at these, they're like, how did these even go around the track? What's that like for you guys when you see those faces and see that kind of awe moment for them?
Obviously, to drive an IndyCar at 230 miles an hour across the 2.5-mile oval today is a gladiator effort. But you look at where we started here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with things like the Marmon Wasp and the innovation and evolution that the car has had. The museum is a site that you can showcase that and compare and contrast and see what worked, what didn't, how that inkling of an innovation started and how it progressed, whether it be in 56, our collection, your favorites, our other exhibit that we're opening also, or just the Winners Gallery. It's a tangible way to see those innovations.
How long is this exhibit going to be open for people to take part in it and get to see all this stuff?
Yeah, 1956 is open through October, so it'll be open during the Brickyard time, the IMSA race, and all the days in between.
Awesome. Well, it's certainly going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people are going to be excited to see these cars because people, if they love anything as much or more than the Indy 500, it's just the history of the Indy 500, and it's a really cool exhibit. So, Jason, thanks for letting us come out and check it out. And if you want to come out and see it, make sure you do so because it's here through October. Then you're not going to get to see it for a while at least. So, awesome. Thank you so much.